Do you guys ever wonder if social justice warriors realize that they're literally living stereotypes to the key, to the core, just 100%? I mean, have you ever met one of these people in real life? Sorry, I'm moving around. They don't seem to understand how similar they are to literally everybody else in their movements. It's like this one time I picked up this rainbowed hair girl in my Uber car. That's the joke and the punchline right there. I picked up a rainbow-haired girl. Because you know exactly what the story is going to be. If I told you that I tried to not engage in political discussion with her by telling her that, oh, I don't really follow politics, and then that she proceeded to tell me about how great Obamacare was, and then proceeded to tell me how that I could get government handouts, would that surprise you? Because that's exactly what happened. And that's what makes just saying, oh yeah, I, as an Uber driver, picked up a rainbow-haired girl. That's the joke and the punchline in and of itself. Because they are such a stereotype. You expect that type of behavior. Or you expect worse. And by the way, she was really fucking rude. Because I tried to explain to her at one point why I voted for Donald Trump, and she flippantly just fucking ignored me. And I had given some reason about how, oh, my family out in the Midwest, they all voted for Trump. And the reason why is because the Rust Belt right now is really, really suffering. And I kind of started to explain that, and she completely dismissed me and was like, oh, you voted for Trump because you just didn't know what was going on. And it's like, fuck you. Fuck you in the ass. Giant dildo. Like, giant black dildo. By the way, you all know that these SJW girls, they secretly love being degraded during sex. So, giant black dildo up your ass. Imagine black, because they always dress in black, you know? Like, you see one of these SJWs, it's like, hair, signaling my virtue. And then their clothes are always just black because they all have to look the same. They get to have a little bit of individuality in their hair. Like, oh, I have rainbow hair. I've got pink hair. I've got red hair. Blah, 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 so on and so forth. But they all act the same. They all think the same. They all basically look the same. You can pick one out. It's like, oh, yeah, pink-haired girl got in my car the other day. Was she 13? No. She was like 20. Ooh, how'd that turn out? See, I know somebody's laughing right now because you've had the experience too. You run across somebody, they're the living stereotype, and exactly what you think is gonna happen happens. They are so consistent in their behavior. They have no individuation whatsoever, you know? Or if they do, it's like, instead of the big, thick, heavy, rimmed glasses that are black, I'm gonna get the big, thick, heavy, rimmed glasses that are red. Because I'm an individual. And they think that they look so cool with their red, with their colored hair, and they always have like nose rings, or like, you know, they're a really fucking big cunt if they've got a septum piercing. Like, only giant, massive, I don't know what it is about the septum piercing, but if you see a girl with a septum piercing, run in the opposite direction. That, or, you know, yank on it, see if she'll come with you, you know, like a bull does. Because that's why bulls have rings in their noses, by the way, is so that they're easier to control. Because if the nose is really sensitive, and you put the ring in the bull's nose, and then you can like attach a rope or whatever to the ring, and you can lead the bull and control the bull that way. That's why people do it. It doesn't really hurt the bull that much. But you gotta do it to a bull. And by the way, there's a difference for people between a bull and a steer. A bull has his testicles and a lot of fucking testosterone and is very, very angry, very, very hard to control. A steer, you castrate when they're a baby. The reason why you do that is because the meat is more tender if it's not been overloaded with testosterone. And they're generally sold for meat. But people who want to keep them as pets also castrate them so they're easier to control. And then they can be domesticated or you know, tamed or whatever and so forth. But a bull's fucking nutso. So, if you see a girl with a septum piercing, just think bull and run away. Because that nothing good can come of that. Those girls are always the biggest fucking cunts. For whatever reason, the ones with the septum piercings, just think bull. And honestly, I would really, really love to see a video of someone just walking up to one of these people and grabbing one of those septum piercings and being like, okay, come on. I think it'd be hilarious. Or better yet, like walking up to me and be like, you have a booger on your nose. Like, what are you talking about? Look, right there. No, you still haven't gotten it. No, it's right in the middle. These people are so stupid. And they all act the same. They're like, they have no other conception. They don't know. No new ideas. No new ideas at all. It's so ideological. It's like if there are new ideas, it has to be more extreme, not less extreme. It has to be more. If it's more extreme, they like it better. And it's so stereotyped. It's like, oh, what can we do to bring the white man down? What can we do to shit on the white man? What can we do to shit on men? What can we do to shit on rich, middle-class people? Fucking assholes with their trust funds going after the fucking middle class. Horrible fucking people. And you know what the biggest problem is? And the reason why they have absolutely no individuation is because they're following a specific ideology that has arbitrary rules. And the arbitrary rules are white people are evil, so you have to take out the white men. Men are evil, so you have to take down men. And their minorities are victims, so you have to protect minorities. Those are like the rules, and they're very arbitrary because there's no real basis. They don't have any sort of material way that they can support it. There's no real psychological way that they can support it, and there's no real good spiritual way that they can support it either. And so they're floundering. They're gonna fucking die out because their ideology is too inflexible. They're gonna cannibalize themselves, and they become more and more extreme as time goes on. So I don't even necessarily think that social justice warriors are like a massive deal. It's if they become more moderate that you have to worry, because right now everybody's like, fuck them, they're at the fringes, they're assholes, they're trying to tell us all what to do. But if they become more moderate, then you have to start worried about people taking them more seriously. Because more moderate people appear, you know, more rational, more reasonable, and whatnot, and so forth. I don't think they're going to do that because this is a phase for them, you know, that or, you know, they're idiots. It's either a phase or they're idiots, and they're going to stay like that the rest of their life, and they're just going to be radical all their life. So then you get, you know, women like Big Red, who comes along, and she is unapologetically feminist. To the core, just unapologetically feminist. And it's hatred of men to the core, and you know that. And she's got the bright red hair to signal who she stands with. Oh, so stereotypical, you know? It's just beautiful picture of the stereotype. It would just be a giant picture of red. And these people No, they always think that they have to fight. We have to fight. We have to fight. What are you fighting for, though? And oppression. Well, what does oppression look like? The white man's oppressing us. Okay, but how? Wage gap. No. Just no. That doesn't hold any water. So how is the white man oppressing you? He has things we don't have. That's not oppression. These people are the same because they're following an ideology with arbitrary rules, and they don't have their own principles to live by. When you live by your own principles, you develop your own sense of individuation. Because principles are overarching, right? You have whatever. Your highest principle is what you should be aiming for, or whatever. And I think that's where the idea of God comes from. Or that is God, if you want to be more spiritual about it. But you have to have principles that you live by. And a principle is something that's overarching and can apply to many multiple situations. Like almost in the highest principle would be a principle that applies to all situations. These people have rules. They have arbitrary rules. Anytime that a white person is involved, they are evil and they are doing something wrong. Anytime a black person is involved, they're always innocent and they can't be doing anything wrong at all. Even if they have a gun and they're shooting at police, they didn't do anything wrong. And that's why their logic's so fucking messed up. It's because it's not transferable. Situation to situation. They don't live by principles, they live by arbitrary rules. And the arbitrary rules say black people are always victims, white people are always aggressors, men are always aggressors, women are always victims, etc., so on and so forth. You know all the rules that you hear coming out of them. And they're arbitrary rules, and they think that they're so great and that they're like helping people. But it just doesn't work. They don't have any real underlying principles to back up their behavior. And so their behavior just belies the principle of entitlement. They feel that they are entitled. They think they're doing good, but their actions betray their principles. And their major principle is entitlement. And it's so stereotypical. You social justice warriors, you're all the same. Not a single one of you has any individuality. You guys love becoming more and more extreme. You love making up more and more arbitrary rules that people have to follow because it gives you a sense of control. And that's not a good way to gain control over your life. The better way to do it is to figure out what your principles are, to try to find a highest principle by which to live by, and then to aim for that principle. And so when I talk about principles, you think of like honesty. Honesty is a great principle to live by. Okay, so I'm gonna live, theoretically, I don't follow this in my actuality, but if you wanted to live by the principle of honesty, you would say, okay, I'm going to try to be honest in every interaction that I have, with every person that I have, online, in person, etc. I'm just going to try to be fucking as honest as humanly possible. That's a principle to live by. Honesty. I live by honesty. And then you go off and you act it out. But you have to figure out what that principle is before you can go act it out. So you have to think about it. These people don't think, they just accept these arbitrary rules, and the feels, and the guilt, and the I feel bad about being white, so I'm going to be a social justice warrior, and I'm going to make other white people feel bad. And in that way, I'm going to get people to convert to my religion of SJWism. Guys, figure out what your principles are. Come up with something good. Don't come up with this bullshit entitlement and need for tyrannical control. You guys aren't going to be happy that way. You guys will never be happy that way. You have to find balance. You have to figure out what your principles are and then live by them. That's the only way to do it. It's going to make you healthier psychologically. It'll make you healthier physically, it'll make you healthier emotionally. Other people in your life will start to notice a difference if you start living by principles instead of rules. People will notice. And even if you fuck up from time to time, they'll forgive you because they know that nobody is perfect. It's a really good principle to live by the way, is the ability to forgive. The principle that all people fuck up, so we all need forgiveness. So the principle of forgiveness is a really good principle to live by. Just keep that in mind next time you decide to go for a riot or destroy somebody's shop window that you don't even know, or tell a couple white girls trying to open up a burrito shop that they're culturally appropriating somebody else's culture and therefore they're evil. Does it really matter?